to the hottest trendsetters. They're the year's most fascinating. You think you know them, but you don't.
Is this relationship forever?
And only Barbara Walters can get them to tell all.
I work with what I got.
Plus, an exclusive interview as shock jock Don Imus breaks his silence.
Do you think you should have been fired?
But the biggest question of all is, who's number one? Barbara Walters' 10 Most Fascinating People of 2007 starts right now on ABC. Start here.
Tonight, Barbara Walters presents.
How do you feel when people call you the sexiest couple in the world?
Oh, I love that. I haven't heard it before, but I love it.
I give you the person you can make the next president of the United States, Senator Hillary Clinton.
Mr. President, is your wife really smarter than you are? Well, you won a lot of awards this year, but you also won an Emmy for a skit which I cannot describe.
Right. I think it's a thoughtful Christmas gift.
And the Emmy goes to Catherine Heigl.
What would surprise people about you?
But I'm not nearly all that fascinating, actually.
Well, we picked you as one of the most
I know.
Don't
It's
tell me you're
shocking.
not.
I don't know why.
I love this. My own space on MySpace. If I were a Martian, I come down from outer space, I hear about something called MySpace. What is it?
And the Oscar goes to Jennifer Hudson.
Tell me, Cinderella, what's it been like?
It's been beyond a dream.
I did a bad thing, but I'm a good person.
Don, there were people who said you're a racist.
Based on what?
What you said. Are you a racist?
No, I mean, that's just fundamentally insane.
The 10 Most Fascinating People of 2007.
Good evening. This is how it works. We pick 10 people in no particular order, but we keep the most fascinating a secret until the end. Now, getting there is half the fun, so let's get started. For the last year, this superstar has been bringing sexy back, and I, for one, couldn't be happier. Justin Timberlake is the perfect pop star. Everything you want wrapped up in a box. Bringing sexy back. Justin Timberlake is bringing sexy back. Where did it go?
I have no earthly idea.
This year, Justin Timberlake showed us why he's the new king of pop. He had 4 #1 singles, 4 movies, a hit album, and a sold-out tour. Not to mention a racy little skit he and comic Andy Samberg did for Saturday Night Live. In it, 2 cocky singers packaged their packages as Christmas gifts for their girlfriends. Well, you won a lot of awards this year, but you also won an Emmy for a skit which I cannot describe.
Right.
So you describe it.
Well, you know, I think it's a thoughtful Christmas gift. Personally.
Justin Randall Timberlake was born 26 years ago in a small town near Memphis, Tennessee. He started singing as a toddler. At 11, he went on Star Search. He lost, but the following year, he was cast on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Next up, we've got a great song. Here's Christina.
At 14, he joined NSYNC. They became one of the biggest boy bands in the world. Justin became the breakout star.
Don't feel me, baby.
After 7 years, he left to write and produce his own sound, but many dismissed him as a pretty face and his music as shallow pop.
Listen.
When you were first called pop, you didn't like that.
I was 20 years old and wanted to get as far away from that as possible.
And now you're 26 and pop is okay.
And pop is short for popular, so I don't think you can be too sad about being in that category.
Solo, Justin became a megastar. He's the only former boy bander who's even hotter on his own.
1, 2, 3,
At a time when music sales are declining, Justin's are bigger than ever. You have said being on stage is the closest thing to a holy experience that I can imagine.
It becomes kind of a meditation to be on stage.
So up to y'all down here.
It's about having a moment or a dialogue with the crowd, however small or large they may be.
Justin has had 2 very public relationships and 2 very public breakups.
What are you referring to?
First with Britney Spears, and then with Cameron Diaz. Well, now there's a new relationship. We see pictures of you here and there and so on. I have to ask you.
You're gonna do it to me too,
Yeah,
Barbara.
How could I not ask him about his new relationship with actress Jessica Biel?
She is a wonderful, wonderful person.
Do you think it will last?
Well, I'll work on that.
So far, so good is the way we say
so
it.
far, so great.
Rolling Stone called you the new king of sex. Do you think you're sexy?
I don't know. I'll hold on to that title. I'll hold on to that title for as long as I can. You know, Brad, George, you guys may be on the most beautiful whatever, but
You know what? You're 26. And then...
Yes, yes. Eat your heart out, boys.
For the first time in history, a former president has a good shot at getting back into the White House as a spouse. And that's just one reason why we think that Bill Clinton is fascinating.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome William Jefferson Clinton.
It's the presidential campaign trail, and Bill Clinton is running for president. Wait a minute, that was then. This is now.
I give you the person you can make the next president of the United States, Senator Hillary Clinton.
The man some call the rock star of American politics hasn't lost his magic touch.
And this is just a tiny portion of the political memorabilia from my presidency.
I met the 61-year-old former president at his office in Harlem, where he oversees the Clinton Foundation.
This is what the Oval Office looked like from my desk, so that I would always have a memory of exactly what my office looked like from my chair.
But there hasn't been much time for memories. Since leaving office just 6 years ago, he has become a kind of global expediter, traveling to over 84 countries, using his iconic status to fight poverty, childhood obesity, global warming, and AIDS. Even a quadruple bypass in 2004 couldn't slow him down. He gives several speeches a month, and he's written 2 best-selling books, including his current one, Giving, How Each of Us Can Change the World. Mr. President, do you think you've changed the world?
Pieces of it.
In terms of money, how much do you give?
Oh, a few $1 million a year. As I earn money, I put 10% aside into our family foundation, and I try to give money that's not tax deductible too, because I don't approve the tax cuts that have been given to people in my income group.
If your wife were not running, and if the laws were changed, would you like to have run a 3rd time?
Oh, before I might have. I loved being president. I loved it, and I thought I was well suited to the time.
If your wife becomes president, I don't suppose that you're going to participate in the Easter egg hunt or the Christmas decorations.
You know, I'd actually like doing that.
You're going to do the Easter egg hunt?
If I'm asked to do it, I would love to do that.
Would you sit in on cabinet meetings if your wife is president?
Only if asked, and I think it would only be wise if it were on a specific issue. I think it's better for me to give her my advice privately most of the time.
What if you disagree with the decision that your wife makes? Would you weigh in?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. But when she made it, I do my best to support it, or keep my mouth shut.
We know who you think the strongest Democratic candidate is. Who do you think is the strongest Republican candidate?
I can't tell, but I think that McCain has a lot of appeal, and I think that he seems to be making a little bit of a comeback, and we disagree on many things, but I think he's a big figure. So he might be the most electable. I don't know if he can be nominated.
Mr. President, Is your wife really smarter than you are? People think you are very smart. Is she smarter?
About some things. We have different kinds of intelligence. She has a great organizational intelligence, and we've always worked well together, and I think that's one reason we've been, I said the other day when we celebrated our 32nd anniversary, I'd rather spend the night talking to her than anybody I can think of.
How much time do you get to be with each other, you and your wife?
Well, not as much now that she's running. We talk a lot of times every day.
No texting?
No, I don't do that. I call her on the phone.
No emailing?
I want to hear her voice. I call her on the phone because I can hear how she's doing. You know somebody as well as we do. You just hear the tone of their voice. You know how they're doing.
When you had your quadruple bypass surgery, what impact has that had on you today?
I think it's made me more grateful for every day I have of life. I realized, that if I hadn't made it through that surgery, I would have still had a life more full, more rich than the vast majority of people that ever lived. And I decided that, if people survive for a reason, that my reason should be to give those chances to other people. I think it's made me a little more mellow, so I both love the small things more, and I sweat the small things less.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks.
Next.
You have become very rich in a short time. Just nod. Were you glad when he was no longer with the show?
I'm a big believer in consequences and responsibility.
Is this relationship forever?
Plus, the most fascinating person of the year.
I want you to try out for the debate team. You sure you want somebody like me? No. That's why you're trying out.
When no one believed in them.
Debate is combat. Your weapons are words.
He inspired them.
I am here to help you to keep your righteous mind.
To believe in themselves.
What do you want us to do?
Debate Harvard University.
Based on a true story.
My message to you is to never quit.
The time for justice is right now.
The Great Debaters. Rated PG-13. Everywhere this Christmas.
Say no more to messy mascara. Introducing new Telescopic Clean Definition with a no-clump brush like no other. It starts, sweeps, stays on clean. For our most defined lashes with telescopic length. New Telescopic Clean Definition from L'Oreal.
It's perfect. The gift card from Kohl's. Expect great things.
Depression can turn you into a person you don't recognize. Unlike the person you used to be. Someone your kids don't understand. Depression hurts. Sadness, loss of interest, aches and pains, fatigue. You can feel it in so many ways. Cymbalta can help. Cymbalta is a prescription medication that treats many symptoms of depression. Tell your doctor right away if your depression worsens or you have unusual changes in mood or behavior, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Cymbalta is not approved for children under 18. People taking MAOIs or thiaridazine or with uncontrolled glaucoma should not take Cymbalta. Tell your doctor about all your medicines, including those for migraine, to avoid a potentially life-threatening condition, and about your alcohol consumption or if you have liver disease. Dizziness or fainting may occur upon standing. Side effects may include nausea, dry mouth, and constipation. Ask your doctor about Cymbalta. Depression hurts. Cymbalta can help.
I think that possibly, maybe I'm falling for you. Yes, there's a chance that I've fallen quite hard over you. I've seen the paths that your eyes wander down. I wanna come to.
Tomorrow, here's Stacey Peterson's voice in the last message she left her father.
Wednesday, October 17th. Hey, Dad, it's me, Stacey.
Are there hidden clues in this message? And what are police now looking for? Tomorrow, new details on the search for Stacey on Good Morning America.
Oprah Winfrey presents a story of life-changing second chances.
You can't be here.
Why not?
Because you died.
Based on Mitch Albom's best-selling book, For One More Day, a world premiere event Sunday 9, 8 Central on ABC.
We're back. MySpace is an internet site that is bigger than Google, Yahoo, and YouTube. And its founders, Chris DeWolf and Tom Anderson, might have more friends than anyone on the planet. If I were a Martian, I come down from outer space, I hear about something called MySpace. What is it?
Well, I think if I were a Martian, the first thing I'd want to do is get on MySpace. So,
so I could meet everybody.
Yeah, you could find the other Martians that were on there and then make other Earthling friends.
MySpace is a social networking site where anyone can create a profile of themselves using text, photos, and videos. Then anyone who's a member can look you up and become what MySpace calls your friend. With millions of users in over 23 countries, MySpace is changing the way we communicate. The team behind it, 32-year-old Tom Anderson and 41-year-old Chris DeWolf, preside over the online empire from their hip new sprawling headquarters in Los Angeles.
Are you implying that we're geeks?
It's the one office in America where going on MySpace is encouraged. Chris and Tom met 7 years ago. Chris was then an executive at an internet company. Tom was applying for a job. Tom, you said that Chris saved you from a lifetime of unemployment.
I did say that, yeah.
You were not doing much or going anywhere, but you were getting there fast.
I didn't think about working. I wasn't very career-focused.
The thing I love about him is he always has a million ideas when most people don't have any.
MySpace was one of Tom's ideas. His inspiration was Friendster, a popular networking site that banned self-promotion. Tom thought if you allowed members to promote themselves, you could really grow.
He said we could create the next, huge portal on the internet and do it all around social networking. It's going to be the biggest thing ever.
And what did you say?
I said, let me think about it.
They launched MySpace in January 2004. Within a year, it had over 20 million members. In 2005, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp bought it for, get this, $580 million. Tom and Chris remained in charge. You have become very rich in a short time. Just nod. The partnership works, they say, because they have different roles. Tom is technical and creative. Chris is the money guy.
And so it's a great partnership between us because
I don't have patience for a lot of the stuff that he does. Yeah. He doesn't have patience for a lot of the stuff that I do, so it works out well.
So well that MySpace has become America's bulletin board. You can find just about anything on it, from skateboarding tips
Throw your front foot out, land.
to the next hot rapper.
What up? It's the boy Sean Kingston, man.
To your college roommate, to cooking advice.
Pull it over, push it down.
MySpace has become everyone's space, including this year the presidential candidates.
Next president of the United States is going to be a MySpace member.
And now I'm going to be a MySpace member. Chris and Tom helped me create a MySpace page of my own. What does it say about me?
It says you went to Sarah Lawrence College. Is that true?
That's true.
We got it right?
See, I'll go back a little bit.
Hey,
I just wanted to read something what my interests were.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
We got it right? How about the song you put on your page?
Oh, you have a song?
Yeah. Show business.
I do like show business. Ethel Merman. You don't even know who she is.
I found her song.
I love this. My own space on MySpace.
It's surreal. It's humbling. It's just become ubiquitous, and it's crazy to think that that's happened in such a short time.
Our next choice doesn't think she's fascinating, but she doesn't get to make that decision. We do. And no one could argue that Emmy winner and Grey's Anatomy star Katherine Heigl hasn't had a fascinating year.
Kirsten Kelly.
No. Oh, last year, if you weren't a fan of Grey's Anatomy, you probably didn't know Katherine Heigl from Sandra Oh. What a difference a year makes.
And the Emmy goes to
Katherine Heigl, Grey's Anatomy.
But you win an Emmy.
I'm pregnant.
What?
Star in Knocked Up, one of the biggest comedies of the year, and get engaged to a rock star. Well, everything changes. What a year this has been for you. Describe it for me.
Overwhelming is the first word that comes to mind, I think, probably because it's so much all at once and so fast.
So when people say, Katie, you're an overnight sensation, little do they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a really, really long haul.
Katherine Marie Heigl, or Katie, as she likes to be called, was raised as a Mormon in Connecticut with her 4 siblings. Dad was an accountant, Mom ran the house, and Katie's career. She started to model at age 9, then moved on to movies.
You look great.
Thanks.
And TV.
I have a date next Friday that I'm hoping I won't have to miss because I'm running from the law. You're right. I am so in love with you.
In 2005, she got the biggest break of her career, landing the role of Izzy on the hit TV series Grey's Anatomy.
Is it the best?
For Izzy, she drew on her own experiences. When Katie was 7, she spent too much time in a real hospital when a car accident left her brother brain dead.
It was hard, and a lot of the storylines that Izzy, my character, deals with have a lot to do with brain damage and a lot to do with organ donation and a lot to do with young people dying, and I just am ready for them to stop doing that.
What impact has that had on your life?
Suddenly realize this world is so volatile. You have no idea at any given time if somebody you love and care about is going to drop dead or get hit by a car or be in a terrible accident, so...
That's a big lesson for a 7-year-old.
Yes, it is. You know, I wish I hadn't learned it.
Yeah. Grey's Anatomy also presented Katie with challenges this year. The show became the center of a media storm when Isaiah Washington used a gay slur to describe Katie's good friend, T.R. Knight. Isaiah apologized, but his contract wasn't renewed. Were you glad when he was no longer with the show?
No, I wasn't actually glad. I'm a big believer in consequences and responsibility, and Isaiah added an aspect to the show that was necessary and good for it on some levels. But that's not to say that I don't think that what happened should have happened.
Now it's peace.
Now it is.
Yeah. And her personal life is at peace, too. In a few weeks, she will wed rocker Josh Kelly. They met when she appeared in his music video, Only You. You're not worried about the life of a rock star?
He's mine. I've made that very clear. In fact, he had to post the rules on the bus wall, so.
And appropriately enough, her next film, 27 Dresses, opposite James Marsden, is all about getting married.
Don't you think it's a whole lot of ritual for something that's got about a 50-50 shot of making it out of the gate?
Oh, how very refreshing. A man who doesn't believe in marriage.
What would surprise people about you?
That I'm not nearly all that fascinating. I'm actually a really sort of regular gal.
And I don't care what you say, we think you're fascinating.
Thank you. Well, at least somebody does. That's nice. Thank you.
Next.
Did you realize when you said this, what you had done?
Oh, you mean at that instant?
Yeah.
No.
Did you think I want to go to bed with her, or did you think I want her to be the mother of my children?
Ooh. Plus, the most fascinating person of the year. Sony CyberShot camera with HD output. Watch your photos like you watch your favorite TV shows in high definition. High definition. It's in our DNA. On Tuesday.
That's gotta be boring.
It's the ultimate DVD for your collection. The Bourne Ultimatum. Only Tuesday.
Victoria's Secret is having a pajama sale just in time for the holidays. Pajamas make great gifts, and right now they're just $29.50 and up. The pajama sale, only at Victoria's Secret.
Tina, the writers need you.
Can I just put my...
The snake wrangler got bit again.
Can you...
Which flute, the angry hippie sketch?
No, the other kind of German shepherds. What?
This is American Express. Did you buy 14,000 racquetballs?
14,000 what? No.
We'll take it off your account right away.
You will? I don't have to do anything?
Nope.
Thanks. I can't do it all alone. That's why I'm a card member.
The writer's room is on fire.
Are you protected from unexpected problems? Are you a card member?
You can talk to your friends with your thumbs, or you can do it for real over the flavors that bring people together. With Applebee's Steakhouse Classics, you choose from 3 cuts of steak, any 2 sides, and a topping. Applebee's, get it together, baby.
The perfect gift.
Shop Zale's biggest sale of the year. Now through Sunday, take up to an extra 15% off store-wide at Zales, the Diamond Store.
P.S. I Love You. 'Tis the joy of the season.
Shake it, baby. Do the stomach thing.
It's the best romantic comedy in a very long time.
Love that.
P.S. I Love You. Rated PG-13. Starts December 21st.
Thanks to everyone for making Samantha Who the #1 new comedy.
If it wasn't for you, I would be nothing.
Oh, honey, don't be silly. You wouldn't be nothing. You'd just be less.
Enjoy an all-new Samantha Who, Monday at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
Back again. This man granted me his first formal interview since he got fired 8 months ago. His new radio show started just a few days ago. Now, Don Imus has a new outlet, and it seems a new outlook. On April 4th, Don Imus opened his mouth, and all hell broke loose.
So I watched the basketball game last night between a little bit of Rutgers and Tennessee.
He insulted the Rutgers women's basketball team using racially and sexually charged language. Did you realize when you said this what you had done?
Oh, you mean at that instant?
Yeah.
No.
Did you intend it to be funny?
Well, of course.
Yeah. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it just was not funny. It's not the first unfunny thing I've ever said, by the way. Don't tell me to shut up. You have guts enough to come on this program.
The guy who invented Shock Jock Radio has over the years become a heavy hitter in Washington and beyond.
Good morning, Senator Edwards. Good morning, Doc.
His studio was a mecca for politicians.
Convince your listeners that
His tireless lobbying helped convince Congress to raise military death benefits. And outside the studio, he's built and runs a ranch for sick children. But no one was thinking about any of that this year because his remarks caused such a firestorm that within a week, his show went down in flames.
Radio host Don Imus lost his battle to keep his job today. He was fired by CBS.
Do you think you should have been fired?
Probably not. But once it caught fire, which was quickly, then I didn't see any other logical conclusion. I'm sorry I did that. I'm embarrassed that I did that. I did a bad thing. But I'm a good person.
Imus was fired the very same day that he was set to meet with the women of the Rutgers team. He went on to the meeting, a private one, to apologize personally.
We, the Rutgers University Scarlet Knight basketball team, accept Mr. Imus's apology.
Don, when you actually went to talk to the Rutgers girls, what was it like?
It was a great evening. I mean, it was a very emotional, and it wasn't I mean, at the end of it, everybody was crying, and, you know, they were all hugging one another. And
did you cry? Did Don Imus cry?
No, but I remember thinking, I said, man, I'm glad that I'm not here trying to save my job. I wanted them to know that I really was sorry.
Did you feel shame?
Well, not initially, but I don't know if that's the right word, but it was such an aberration for what I would do, for things I said on the radio or television, forever. It was directed at innocent people, and they didn't deserve to be made fun of. I mean, I've spent 30 years making fun of people who deserve to be made fun of.
He's had time for reflection in the last 8 months since he's been off the air. He spent much of that time with his wife Deirdre and 9-year-old son Wyatt at the Imus Ranch in New Mexico. There he and his family have been working with children who suffer from serious illnesses. That ranch is so much a part of your life. When you were with them this summer, and you're very loving with these kids, did your own problems seem awfully small?
Well, I didn't think this was about me, any of this. I thought a far greater impact of what happened in the aftermath of this is the effect of the kids on that team.
Is it over?
I don't know. It's not for me to decide. I don't know. I mean, I think I have a daily responsibility where maybe I didn't think I did before, to try to advance a better understanding between how white people and black people can talk to each other.
In fact, his new show, which just started, features 2 African-American regulars.
They're there because anybody who's on that program is there because they're funny or smart. But I think the responsibility I have is to never, ever say anything that would ever make these young women or anybody else regret that they forgave me and that they accepted my apology.
Now you have a new radio show. Are we going to have a kinder, gentler Don Imus?
Well, I don't think so, no.
Will you be a more cautious?
Well, in my view, for example, Vice President Cheney is still a war criminal, and Hillary Clinton is still Satan. So...
How do you think you're going to be remembered?
Well, I think it depends on when we start remembering. I mean, if I drop over now as a result of this interview, then I don't know. If it's 5 years from now, not probably, who knows?
You're a hard man to forget, Mr. Imus. Our next choice has only been famous for about a year now, but 26-year-old Jennifer Hudson has already given a voice to anyone who longs to live the dream. This is the year Jennifer Hudson got to go to the ball.
And the Oscar goes to Jennifer Hudson.
Oh my God, I have to just take this moment in. I cannot believe this. Look what God can do.
Take me back to that 7-year-old girl who was dying to sing. And what? No one would let you?
Oh, goodness. I still remember to this day coming home from church crying because they would never give me a solo. Yeah. So I remember being at home in the bathroom crying, and I said, if nobody listens to me sing, I'll listen to me sing.
What did you sing?
My first solo was Much Jesus Bear the Cross Alone.
Let's hear it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Much Jesus bear the cross alone.
She went from singing in a Chicago church to singing in regional theater, to a cruise ship, singing high seas on the high seas. Then in 2004, she set out to be the next American Idol. She lost.
Jennifer Hudson.
Were you humiliated?
No, if anything, I felt challenged. I said, you know what, there's something in store for me. God has something in store. I don't know what, don't know when, don't know where, don't know how, but it's something coming, and you will see me again.
Thanks to an Oscar win for Dreamgirls, we will see her again and again and again. She's recording her first album. Will appear in the film Winged Creatures.
I don't understand.
And then she'll play Carrie Bradshaw's assistant in Sex and the City, the movie. Now they say you're the hottest star, you're the biggest breakthrough, you're this, you're that.
Wow.
Do you ever say, it could be all over?
That's why you take every moment and live in it. Because, I mean, all good things must come to an end, and your time is your time. And right now, it's my time, and so I just try to enjoy it for what it is, every single moment.
Next.
No more England? Welcome to America?
Welcome to America. I mean, I think we've really found ourselves here.
Plus, the most fascinating person of 2007.
Someone you love, maybe a numismatist, a coin collector who needs your help. Give them a gift of genuine coins from the United States Mint. Visit usmint.gov. Genuinely worthwhile.
This holiday, give him something he'll really love. The Phillips Norelco Architect. Simplicity is giving him a gift he'll use every day.
This Christmas,
I'll take care of you.
He came from an egg. He's very friendly.
Walden Media, who brought you the Chronicles of Narnia,
How'd you grow so fast?
comes the most wondrous film of its kind since E.T.
Did you see it?
An incredible fantasy adventure. The perfect holiday film. The Water Horse, rated PG, in theaters Christmas Day. Monday, January 7th, two teams will collide. But only one will sing and dance their way to victory. Whose side are you on? Dance War, Bruno vs. Carrie Ann, premieres Monday, January 7th on ABC.
This is an ABC7 News Brief. Now here's Ron Majors.
Good evening. More snow for the Chicago area. Jerry tells us how much we can expect and whether it may affect the morning rush. Also, what we know about the gunman who killed 8 people at a shopping mall. We're live in Omaha. Presidential hopeful Mitt Romney tries to get through to voters who may have concerns about his religion. And our special segment, a perfect smile without the bother of braces. We'll have a look at those stories and more when you join Kathy Brock and me right here tonight at 10.
When my dad sent me off to college, it was tough to leave him. He needed me to read him his mail and write his checks because he never learned how. Then one day he brought a phone bill into U.S. Cellular, and Shannon Carlson was so cool about explaining it to him that he brought her the rest of his mail. Now they get together whenever he needs help. Thank you, Shannon.
How am I ever going to find the answer?
The key to wisdom is knowing the right questions.
What are the questions?
How can I connect with the world around me? Which path is the best to choose? What is the coolest technology on the block?
Comcast.
You will go far.
Get Comcast digital cable, plus pick home phone and or high-speed internet. Just $24.99 each per month for 6 months. Call 1-888-4-BEST-TV.
The new everyday value menu at Subway restaurants. 5 regular 6-inch subs, each only $2.99 or less. Great tasting variety and everyday value. 5 regular 6-inch subs, each only $2.99 or less. The new everyday value menu. Subway, eat fresh.
Continue. This power couple made such an impact this year that we counted them as 2. Ever heard of David and Victoria Beckham? How could you not? This is their first interview together since they, as they say in England, crossed the pond. This year we witnessed a new British invasion. Meet the Beckhams. The hottest soccer star and the poshest of the Spice Girls were coming to America. An unstoppable celebrity juggernaut, combining sports, television, fashion, music, and pure sex. How do you feel when people call you the sexiest couple in the world?
Oh, I love that. I haven't heard it before, but I love it.
David got all dressed up for our interview, and Victoria displayed her unique tattoo. The Beckhams came here so David could play soccer for the LA Galaxy. But that 5-year, $50 million deal is just a small part of the Beckham brand, which includes Victoria's reunion tour with the Spice Girls, their DVB fashion merchandise, and endorsement deals, together reportedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a far cry from David's modest beginnings in the suburbs of London. David Beckham was born 32 years ago to a working-class family.
My father used to take me onto the field every day.
So he was obsessed by soccer?
He was obsessed by soccer, and he just put it into me. I joined a team when I was 8, and it went on from there, and it's all I ever wanted to do.
Do you dream about soccer?
All the time. All the time.
At the same time, about 20 miles away, Victoria Adams was growing up with her 2 younger siblings. You said that what you wanted more than anything was to be famous.
The most important thing about being famous, it gives you a voice.
While David was becoming an international soccer star, Victoria found her voice as Posh Spice, a member of one of the best-selling girl groups of all time, the Spice Girls. You saw a video of the Spice Girls, and you said, I want her.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to marry that girl.
Why did you think that?
think it was the cat suit, wasn't it?
Definitely the cat
It was a
suit.
cat suit.
Yeah.
Did you think I want to go to bed with her, or did you think I want her to be the mother of my children?
Oh, I would hope.
Was it love or was it lust?
I think it was a bit of both.
You should say
Without a doubt. Well, it was probably lust then.
And you didn't know who David was?
No, I went to a game with Simon Fuller, who was my manager and still is, and he just introduced me to David. And what I loved about him, all the other players were at the bar with their friends getting drunk, and David was there with his family, with his mother and his father and his younger sister, and I loved that about him, you know.
She was very drunk, so she gave me her number.
But that doesn't sound great. You shouldn't say that.
She says we're very family-oriented. You said she was very drunk. Their family includes 3 boys, Brooklyn, Romeo, and Cruz. Do you want more children?
I'd love more children. I'd love 2 more children. I've always wanted a big family. I love big families, so.
So?
Well, I've had 3.
Oh, what about 5?
This is the first she's heard about this.
Is this the first you've heard? I'm so glad we're doing this interview. Tell her how you feel
She
about it.
knows. Yeah, I really want 2 more children.
Yeah, okay.
David, you better wait.
I know.
Everything the Beckhams do makes everything else the Beckhams do more successful. It was that Midas touch that the LA Galaxy was hoping David would bring to American soccer.
This is one of the biggest challenges that I've ever taken on in my career.
What kind of a year has this been for you?
On the soccer side, it's been tough because it's more frustrating than ever because I've never had so many injuries in such a short space of time. You know, I play soccer because it's my passion.
And Victoria isn't just a soccer mom. She recently reunited with the Spice Girls and this week returned to the stage for the first time in 7 years. We heard, you know, you didn't get along. Each of you wanted your own career. That was it.
Things get made up all the time. You know, of course we argued, but, you know, it's been great getting back together, and it's been as if we never actually split up.
You know, you have a whole career in fashion now.
Yeah, we have a brand. We have DVB, and I'm creative director and designer. I'm not one of these celebrities who just put my name on anything. I love to create.
Victoria, to the left!
So now we have to talk about your weight. Okay, you are teeny weeny.
Yes.
Okay, do you watch everything you eat?
I'm very careful what I eat. You know, I'm very, very health conscious. I've never been one to eat lots of junk food.
Do you ever eat a cookie or a piece of chocolate cake?
No.
What's the biggest misconception about you?
I think that for me personally, I think that obviously I've been under this media spotlight for a long time, and I always look very serious and quite moody in the pictures.
You don't smile?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I think that's just me.
Give me your usual expression.
Well, I can't do that now.
Not because now you're smiling. There's been so much written about your relationship with Tom Cruise and Katie. And all of the rumors, have they tried to introduce you to Scientology and so forth? Tell us about that relationship with the 2 of you.
No, I mean, they are the nicest family. You know, they have their beliefs, but they have never, ever tried to press those on us. We're friends, we have a laugh with them, and they're just very kind, wonderful people.
You know, your marriage is like a 1 and 1 made 3. You know, I mean, each of you would have been probably very successful separately. But together, it's a phenomenon. People wonder, is it a good marriage?
But, you know, I think we've been married for 8 years, together for 7. 10, sorry.
Married for 8, together for 7.
And, you know, and I think that's great. And for the 2 of us to still be able to not just love each other, but to really still laugh after so many years is really important.
Is this relationship forever?
Of course.
I hope so.
Of course it is. We wouldn't have got married if it wasn't.
And I believe them. Earlier this year, I traveled to Venezuela for a rare interview with a man who told me he drinks 20 cups of coffee a day. But his critics aren't worried that President Hugo Chavez has too much coffee. It's that he has too much power. Welcome to Allo Presidente, where millions of Venezuelans tune in for entertainment, information, and advice. Your host, Hugo Chavez, president of Venezuela. On the show, he shares his favorite books, takes calls from Fidel Castro,
Oye, Fidel.
and insults President Bush.
George W. Bush. You are a donkey, Mr. Bush.
But we have heard you call the President of the United States a drunk, a liar, a coward, a murderer. What does all this name-calling accomplish?
I think I'm just saying what many people would like to tell him. I said he was a donkey because I think he's very ignorant about what is actually happening in Latin America and the world.
Hugo Chavez is the most controversial and potentially powerful man in South America. Depending on whom you talk to, he's a buffoon, a political genius, a dictator in the making, or the liberator of South America's poor. He's embraced Fidel Castro as his mentor, Iranian President Ahmadinejad as his ally, and socialism as his policy. Socialism has not worked in most countries. Why are you going back to socialism?
No, we're not going back. We're going forward.
But it's still socialism.
Yes, I think that Jesus Christ really preached socialism. He came here to fight for equality, for freedom, for dignity.
Chavez says his mission is freeing South America from poverty. He's pushed for higher oil prices and opposed free trade, which he says keeps developing nations poor. Nearly half the country lives in poverty. He spent billions of Venezuela's oil wealth on health and education for them. On my first visit to Caracas, I heard again and again that he is a hero to the poor. Born himself to a poor family, Chavez joined the military. He first tried for power in a coup. It failed, but made him a national icon. In 1998, he was elected president. A few years later, he was nearly overthrown himself in a coup, staged by the country's elite. Since then, critics say, his reforms have threatened democracy. He's closed down a major TV station that opposed him, nationalized key industries. And just this week, with protests on both sides, he tried and failed to change the Constitution, which would give him more power and allow him to be president indefinitely. To many Americans, you are seen as a man who does not like the United States at all. I know you speak a little English, yes? A little bit? Would you give a message to the American people in English?
I'll try. To the people of the United States, all the women, all the men, we, Venezuelan people, loves you.
So far, it's safe to say many are not feeling the love.
Finally, when we return, the most fascinating person of the year.
Discover a world of seduction. Cashmere Mist. Donna Karan Gold. Give the gift of luxury. The Fragrances by Donna Karan. Available at fine department stores.
It's perfect. The gift card from Kohl's. Expect great things.
Dr. Robert Neville. I'm a survivor living in New York City. If anyone is out there, please, you are not alone.
I Am Legend, rated PG-13.
Found it!
It's easy to get Dell computers, printers, monitors, and ink at every Staples store. Staples, that holiday was easy.
With every kiss, with every step, love grows. The Journey 7 Diamond Necklace from Kay Jewelers.
Multiple diamonds arranged from smallest to largest to symbolize how love has grown.
Every kiss begins with K.
Cashmere.
Will you marry me?
Yes!
Mafia.
Be good to her, because if you break her heart, we'll break every last bone in your body.
Cashmere Mafia. The series premiere coming this January to ABC. Start here. In 2003, The Kite Runner became a word-of-mouth phenomenon. Now, the novel that has touched millions has become a motion picture event that will inspire you all over again. Now there is a way to be good again. From the director of Finding Neverland, The Kite Runner, rated PG-13. In select theaters December 14th.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? What good is what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laughs? Are you getting any loving? If other people do, so can you have a little fun?
Serve up sweet memories. Dominic's.
Marshall's shoppers, make way for gifts and stuff your most secret hiding places with all the luxurious gifts they can hold. Gone are the days of paying twice the price for half the presents. And when your tippy-top shelf is sufficiently stuffed, be proud that the same goes for your piggy bank. Marshall's. Shop on. Shop Marshall's now and find the perfect gifts for all the oh-so-handsomes on your list at up to 50% off department store prices. Marshall's. Shop on.
The most fascinating person of 2007 was christened Joanne, but most people know her as J.K., and like her Harry Potter stories, her life has been a dark yet wondrous fairy tale. There seemed to be nothing extraordinary about the family that lived at 35 Nichols Lane near the town of Chipping, Sodbury. Mr. and Mrs. Rowling lived there with their daughter Joanne, just down the block from a family named Potter. No one suspected that Joanne had a special destiny, that out of the ordinary stuff of childhood, she would create a fantasy world that would captivate everyone. In school, her headmaster made a big impression on her. He was an older man with a twinkle in his eye. Then the family moved to Tuts Hill, near a beautiful ancient forest. Joanne took long walks there, lost in the stories that ran through her head. She had few friends. She seemed set apart, resented by other children for being clever. She graduated college. She tried different jobs, but there was only one thing she wanted, to be a writer. One day, while on a train, an idea came to her.
I had the idea for this school for wizards, to which this little boy would go, who doesn't realize he's a wizard until he gets the letter saying that his name's been down since birth.
The boy's name would be Harry Potter. She had no paper or pen with her, so for the next 4 hours she did nothing but think about the story. By the time the train arrived, Joanne had the entire plot in her head, all 7 books worth. That night, she started writing. Then, just a few months later, a devastating thing happened. Her mother died of multiple sclerosis. The loss stayed with her. Her grief became a part of the story. She kept on writing. She took a job teaching, married, had a child, divorced. She had no money, no prospects. She went on welfare. For the next 2 years, she wrote in a cafe while the baby slept in the stroller. She sent a manuscript out to 12 publishers. They all rejected it. Then one company offered her $4,000 and some advice.
He said to me, now remember, you're not going to make much money. There's not much money in children's books.
The rest, the books, the movies, the fame, even the recent revelation that the Wizard of Hogwarts is gay, is a story everyone knows.
J.K. Rowling!
This year, with the long-awaited publication of the final novel, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, her story was over. She had transformed the ordinary milestones of a child's life, loneliness and loss, friendship and the struggle to grow up, into a story that captivated the world. And that, for us, makes J.K. Rowling the most extraordinary, magical, and fascinating person of 2007.
Barbara will be back in a moment.
I'm Kathy Brock.
I'm Ron Majors. More snow for the Chicago area. Jerry tells us how much and where. One of the 8 people killed in the Omaha Mall shooting has ties to the Chicago area. And the recall of more than 1 million vehicles.
Here, Daddy.
Sweet pea, apple of my eye. Don't know when and I don't know why.
Look, Daddy sent us a picture.
More bars in more places. That's what you can expect from the largest digital voice and data network in America.
You're the only reason I keep on coming home.
Switch to the network you can trust. AT&T.
Find the perfect gift. Shop Zale's biggest sale of the year. Now through Sunday, take up to an extra 15% off store-wide at Zale's, the Diamond Store.
What if your moisturizer could treat the cause of aging, not just the signs?
It's possible with new Skin Genesis from L'Oreal.
Only Skin Genesis combines patented Croxalin and hyaluronic spheres to strengthen skin layer by layer. Skin is stronger, tighter,
brighter.
New Skin Genesis, only from L'Oreal.
The nation's top critics agree. I'm Not There is a tour de force. 4 stars. Brilliant.
Kidding me, Rick? I can't watch this.
Cate Blanchett's performance is some kind of miracle. So good it gave me chills.
What does that even mean?
The performance of the year. I'm Not There. Rated R. Now playing select theaters.
Celebrate the holidays with a gift worthy of the gods. Ferrero Rocher, the deliciously layered chocolate with a heavenly taste. Share the secret of gold. This holiday, give America's #1 fragrance. Dream Angels Heavenly, only at Victoria's Secret.
Friday, a teenager dies instantly, yet the graphic pictures of her car crash live online forever, posted and passed around just for kicks. So what's her grieving family to do? Just wait until you see this 2020 Friday.
This is one of those banner years when we could have named 10 more fascinating people and still had names to spare. To the 10 on our list, we thank you. To you at home, thank you for watching. Sorry you didn't make the list. But there's always next year. Good night.
Here we go.
Stay the way you are. In history, a former president has a good shot at getting back into the White House as a spouse. And that's just one reason why we think that Bill Clinton is fascinating.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome William Jefferson Clinton.
It's the presidential campaign trail, and Bill Clinton is running for president. Wait a minute, that was then. This is now.
I give you the person you can make the next president of the United States, Senator Hillary Clinton.
The man some call the rock star of American politics hasn't lost his magic touch.
And this is just a tiny portion of the political memorabilia from my presidency.
I met the 61-year-old former president at his office in Harlem, where he oversees the Clinton Foundation.
This is what the Oval Office looked like from my desk, so that I would always have a memory of exactly what my office looked like from my chair.
but there hasn't been much time for memories. Since leaving office just 6 years ago, he has become a kind of global expediter, traveling to over 84 countries, using his iconic status to fight poverty, childhood obesity, global warming, and AIDS. Even a quadruple bypass in 2004 couldn't slow him down. He gives several speeches a month, and he's written 2 best-selling books, including his current one, Giving, How Each of Us Can Change the World. Mr. President, do you think you've changed the world?
Pieces of it.
In terms of money, how much do you give? You have said being on stage is the closest thing to a holy experience that I can imagine.
It becomes kind of a meditation to be on stage.
What's up to y'all down here?
It's about having a moment or a dialogue with the crowd, however small or large they may be.
Justin has had 2 very public relationships and 2 very public breakups.
What are you referring to?
First with Britney Spears, and then with Cameron Diaz. Well, now there's a new relationship. We see pictures of you here and there and so on. I have to ask you.
You're gonna do it to me too,
Yeah,
Barbara.
How could I not ask him about his new relationship with actress Jessica Biel?
She is a wonderful, wonderful person.
Do you think it will last?
Well, I'll work on that.
So far, so good is
Yes,
the way we say
so
it.
far, so great.
Rolling Stone called you the new king of sex. Do you think you're sexy?
I don't know. I'll hold on to that title. I'll hold on to that title for as long as I can. You know, Brad, George, you guys may be on the most beautiful whatever, but,
You know what? You're 26. And then...
Yes, yes. Eat your heart out, boys.
For the first time...
To the hottest trendsetters. They're the year's most fascinating. You think you know them, but you don't.
Is this relationship forever?
And only Barbara Walters can get them to tell all.
I work with what I got.
Plus, an exclusive interview as shock jock Don Imus breaks his silence.
Do you think you should have been fired?
But the biggest question of all is, who's number 1? Barbara Walters' 10 Most Fascinating People of 2007 starts right now on ABC. Start here.
Tonight, Barbara Walters presents.
How do you feel when people call you the sexiest couple in the world?
Oh, I love that. I haven't heard it before, but I love it.
I give you the person you can make the next president of the United States, Senator Hillary Clinton.
Mr. President, is your wife really smarter than you are? Well, you won a lot of awards this year, but you also won an Emmy for a skit which I cannot describe.
Right. I think it's a thoughtful Christmas gift.
And the Emmy goes to Catherine Hargrove.
What would surprise people about you?
That I'm not nearly all that fascinating, actually.
Well, we picked you as one of the most...
I know.
Don't tell me you're not.
I don't know why.
I love this. My own space on MySpace. If I were a Martian, I come down from outer space, I hear about something called MySpace. What is it?
And the Oscar goes to Jennifer Hudson.
Tell me, Cinderella, what's it been like?
It's been beyond a dream.
I did a bad thing, but I'm a good person.
Don, there were people who said you're a racist.
Based on what?
What you said. Are you a racist?
No, I mean, that's just fundamentally insane.
The 10 Most Fascinating People of 2007.
Good evening. This is how it works. We pick 10 people in no particular order, but we keep the most fascinating a secret until the end. Now, getting there is half the fun, so let's get started. For the last year, this superstar has been bringing sexy back, and I, for one, couldn't be happier. Justin Timberlake is the perfect pop star. Everything you want wrapped up in a box. Bringing sexy back. Justin Timberlake is bringing sexy back. Where did it go?
I have no earthly idea.
This year, Justin Timberlake showed us why he's the new king of pop. He had 4 #1 singles, 4 movies, a hit album, and a sold-out tour. Not to mention a racy little skit he and comic Andy Samberg did for Saturday Night Live. In it, 2 cocky singers package their packages as Christmas gifts for their girlfriends. Well, you won a lot of awards this year, but you also won an Emmy for a skit which I cannot describe.
Right.
So you describe it.
Well, you know, I think it's a thoughtful Christmas gift.
Justin Randall Timberlake was born 26 years ago in a small town near Memphis, Tennessee. He started singing as a toddler. At 11, he went on Star Search. He lost, but the following year he was cast on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Next up, we've got a great song. Here's Christina.
At 14, he joined NSYNC. They became one of the biggest boy bands in the world. Justin became the breakout star.
Don't fail me, baby.
After 7 years, he left to write and produce his own sound, but many dismissed him as a pretty face and his music as shallow pop.
Listen.
When you were first called pop, you didn't like that.
I was 20 years old and wanted to get as far away from that as possible.
And now you're 26 and pop is okay.
And pop is short for popular, so I don't think you can be too sad about being in that category.
Solo, Justin became a megastar. He's the only former boy bander who's even hotter on his own. 1, 2, 3, At a time when music sales are declining, Justin's are bigger than ever.